Hey, what's up, guys? How are y'all? Welcome back to the OS Rick Project, episode 36. You know, it's funny when I was entering the file name, I put episode 35. I was like, wait, there isn't a file 35. Oh shit, this is episode 36. Guys, I want to say thank you for hanging out. I appreciate whether you're on your way to work, at work, or just working out. Thank you for listening. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. How's y'all's week, guys? What you been up to? What y'all been playing? Hopefully you guys are y'all been chipping away as backlog? Is that a thing? Is that an issue? I know some people say that doesn't exist. For me, I think it does exist because there's so many games I want to play, and then of course you have all these sales going on all the time, whether it's on the PlayStation Store or on Steam or just going around. When you walk in a Best Buy, and you find some games on sale or something. Like I was talking to I brought up this question on the Discord, and if you're not in there, guys, make sure you drop by in the Discord. There should be links below. If not, go to my stream and then you get links for the Discord. Um, but I was talking to I post that question on Discord, and one of my buddies, Len Stu, what's up, Len? Um, he said that what he does is he just gets one game a month. I'm like, that's a pretty good strategy. Just get one game a month. That way you don't get overwhelmed and you still stay, you know, without because I'm guilty of just buying a game and then just leaving it in my library and never actually turning it on or downloading, and it sucks. It's ridiculous. But sometimes you just see stuff. It's like it's on deep sales, like $4.99 for Yakuza Zero. I'm like, well, I can't not get that, right? And then you see Batman Arkham City for $2.99. It's like, well, I can't not be, cannot just leave that there. I got to get it. My recent purchase, guys, I was able to pick up Cyberpunk 2077. It was on sale, so 50% off. It was like $30, $29. But I happened to get a gift certificate from one of my customers. So I figured, well, I mean, this is God's way of saying get the game, Rick, right? I mean, everything just lined up. Karma said get the game. But I think that's what I'm going to try to focus on. Just getting one game a month. That's easier said than done, right? If you guys look over to the bottom here, you guys are just listening and not watching the video. I have parts to make another PC. That's kind of been something that I've been wanting to experiment for a while, and I figured, you know what? I'm just gonna build a PC, kind of like a budget esque kind of PC. But the thing is, when I went around looking at budget builds and what they had, you want to go bare bones. I saw some builds having like 8 gigs of RAM. My buddy Viet said, "Dude, what do you do with 8 gigs of RAM? You gonna play Microsoft Paint?" It's like, I mean, at least minimum 16 gigs, right? So I mean, so it's like, yeah, you could do bare bones, and then they had like 250 gigs of storage. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I mean, that's something like the first thing that I will upgrade, right? It will be to get a good at least a terabyte of storage, right? And then of course minimum 16 gigs of VRAM. And then of course you kind of like have some wiggle room on what you get. So originally I was gonna go with the Samsung Evo 970 NVMe M.2 SSD, but doing some more researching, I was like, because I was gonna use this 2 terabytes for everything, for the boot and to boot the OS and to hold, all my games. But I was thinking, I think I read somewhere that you should have one dedicated for your boot, and then one for your gaming. That way they won't, interfere. So I'm looking around. I was looking at Jay Z 2 cents, and he recommended a Crucial brand SSD. So I was like, you know what? At that price, it's probably good. It'll probably be better for the budget. Oh, guys, also, if you hear some clicking in the background, you probably not, but if you do, it's something's wrong with my speakers. I think they're trying to crap out. So that's something I gotta look into, is getting new speakers. The ones that I have now, they're okay, but they came with a subwoofer, which just leads to more wires and cables. I just want to get just plain Jane, just regular speakers. So that's something I gotta look out for anyway. But anyways, going back to the build, I went ahead and I wanted to go with Team Red. I wanted to go with AMD GPU, AMD CPU. For the GPU, we'll talk about video games later. Right now, I'm just gonna talk about the GPU, okay? About the computer I want to build, that I'm going to build. Um, But right now, it's from what I have now. I'm still haven't finished everything. I might return some stuff, and it could lower the price. But right now, with everything that I have, it's sitting at $1,200. I know 1,200 is a lot, but if you think about when all the things you could do with the PC, not only are you gaming on your PC, but you could do work stuff. You could do all your social stuff. If you have any art hobbies, you could put your videos on there. Of course, I like to do my podcast also and my streaming. So I mean, there's a lot of things you could do with the PC, and that's what I think. What it makes it so much better than a console. Yes, a console is no fuss, no muss. It's there, ready to go. You turn it on, done. But with the PC, you have so many freaking options to do, right? So on the GPU side, I settled for, and I looked around, guys. I looked at the prices. Originally, I was gonna go with NVIDIA like a 3060. I was looking at a 3050, 3060, maybe 3060 Ti. Um, but in the end, I was like, you know what, man? I haven't all my GPUs that I have before. On my very first build, I had a 2070 Super, which is equivalent to a PlayStation 5. I gave that one, I gave that computer to my wife, and she's enjoying it for her 3D printing and all her arts and stuff. So she's is doing well over there. And then in my current build that I have now, I have a, RTX 3090, the RTX GTX. It's RTX. I have a RTX 3090, which, when I bought it at the time, it was a lot. Uh, do I regret it? No, because I know that card's gonna last me for the way I use it. That card's gonna last me for a long time. It's what they say. It's the F word, future proof. So like I said, it's just I bought it when the GPU market was still kind of crazy, so it was still kind of high. But given all that, though, even this list that I rattled off at $1,200 is still less than the GPU that I purchased back in April of last year. So I mean, we'll see. But this setup that I have now that I'm going to build is meant mostly for like 1080p gaming, that's like where I'm at. If I would have done more research, if I would have done more diligence back then, I probably would have got a better budget. But you know what? I I'm in a place where I want to enjoy the things that I have, so why not, right? But anyways, on the GPU side, I went for an AMD RX 6650 XT. So that weighed in at that's a little bit at $335. At the CPU, I got AMD Ryzen 5 5600X. And I got that with the bundle from Micro Center. It was the CPU and the motherboard. Then I got I got the RAM, I got the SSD, I got the power supply, which is a Corsair 750 watts, and the case a Leon Lee 216. That one I've heard a lot of good things about. I was looking at the NXS, the NZXT Airflow. I was looking at that one, and some from Corsair, but and I already have a Leon Lee tower, but what I like about it is it has already two USB ports right up front and center, and I know it doesn't make much big difference, but coming at it as when you have your friends over, you're playing fighting games, you have two USB ports just right there, ready. Just not have to go back around behind the PC. It's just right there. I think that's just an awesome little feature. And I looked at the reviews for the Leon Lee 216, and it's something different. I mean, there's gonna be the second Leon Lee case that I have. But the fact that it has these two massive fans and the airflow is really good. All the reviews I've seen on it, so I can't wait to try it out. But like I said, guys, originally when I made this PC, I told myself, I'm just gonna make it because I want to build it, and then I'll just sell it. With maybe like just like I make like $50 profit. That's it. Just because I just want to work on my building skills, and then if I know someone that wants to buy a PC, something that it's really like a really mid range. I think this will be perfect. But like I said, guys, I'm not done with it yet. I'm still waiting on the case to come in, and then I might swap out some of the storage and the VRAM. But besides that, guys, I've been playing. So I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Rise. That game has sunk its teeth in me, and my wife, because what we'll do is, you can play up to 4 players. in a lobby. So me and her will group up and we'll just go on hunts, and it's fun. We'll just go explore and kill things. She plays the hunting horn, I play the greatsword, and she gets some buffs and do some damage. And then same with the greatsword, I'm able to lop off tails and do really big hits. It's really slow, but it hits like a Mack truck. And when you see those big numbers pay off, it's just it feels good. I love it. It feels good, man. And you see tails getting lopped off. It's awesome. So I play with Mikkel when I get the chance, and I also been playing with my buddies Two Fort and Colonel. What's up, guys? I'll play with them every once in a while. These guys are Monster Hunter vets. So when I play with them, I'm just kind of like tagging along, just chopping what I can. But it's really fun playing with them. I mean, it's fun getting carried around by your buddies who know the game, but it's at the same point you want to take your time with the game. You want to learn the patterns that these monsters do. What how they're gonna attack and how do they react, and what's the tails, and what you gotta look out for, and how they're gonna attack, and where they're gonna run to, and when what area are they located at, because there's a lot of layers to it, and that game is really good at giving you that dopamine hit. You see these big numbers coming up, and you get a crit, and it goes really, that you see that number just it's larger than the rest of them, or when you hit a weak point, it comes out as a yellow number, and then you see, you'll see text, monster parts have been broken off, and you see the tail getting lopped off. You start seeing them kind of like running off and limping, and then that's when you start getting your traps ready. And then you got to communicate with your partners, whoever you're playing with, and then you got to watch out. You make sure you don't get faint. You don't faint, because I think there's only like a shared pool of like 3 faints per expedition. So it makes it really, really fun, and I've been enjoying it. And it's I missed out on Monster Hunter World because I just felt like, man, I just didn't want to play with other people. But when you have a dedicated folks to play with, don't get me wrong, playing for single player is enjoyable. It really is. The game scales the monsters to your level, to where you're supposed to be, like your monster hunter, your hunter rating, and your hunter level, whatever. It scales the monsters to that. But when you play with more people, it scales the monsters to that many more players. And playing alone is fun and I enjoy it, but when you have people that are in the same mindset, and especially now that I'm playing on PC and I have access to Discord, when you get to play with everybody on chat, that just makes it. I mean, not chat as in like typing chat, but you're able just to talk, via Discord. It just makes the game that much more fun, and maybe that's what I was missing when I tried to play Monster Hunter World. I didn't have all that. But definitely Monster Hunter Rise. I'm having a really good time with it. I've been enjoying it, guys. I picked it up when it was on sale. And I'm not going to lie, guys. When I first picked up that game, I was a little frustrated with it because there was just so many menus. And there's still some things I don't understand. Like when it comes to upgrading some weapons, how exactly that works and stuff like that. But it's okay because when you got people to play with and they could just show you the ropes and how it's done, or what's really something that you should be focusing on, they could tell you. Or if you're just playing with someone new also and you're just learning together, that's another fun thing that I've learned. I've just been enjoying, because like I said, when I get to play with Mikkel, my wife, we're just having a good time just learning things. And especially when you get to come across new monsters, you still got to learn the patterns. It's really fun, guys. I've been enjoying it. So I would say give it a shot if you haven't already. I know it's going to be coming out on. It was already released on. It originally released on the Nintendo Switch. It's been released on PC. It's been on PC for a while now. And I think pretty soon it's going to be coming out on the current gen console. So keep your eyes out for that. Unfortunately, I don't think it has crossplay, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. If you have friends that love doing multiplayer stuff, I would suggest giving that game a shot, guys. I have been thoroughly impressed and have been having lots of fun with Monster Hunter Rise. I have not, however, purchased the DLC yet. I figured if I am still enjoying this game and I'm at the, if I've already, defeated all the monsters and I'm approaching the end game and I still want more, then I figured, I'll get the DLC because I'm pretty sure the DLC will go on sale again. And, you know how it is on Steam. You just wait around a couple of months, a couple of weeks, and there's a sale going on. So, I haven't picked up the Sunbreaker DLC. I haven't purchased that yet, but it's on the list. Um, what else have I been playing, guys? A little bit of Crisis Core. That's fun. I think I'm getting near the end of the game. You know, I remember, the Final Fantasy, the OG version. That some parts were kind of quirky, some kind of was silly, and it was fine for the time. And then even when I go back and play, I understand it's fun, it's fine. But there's sometimes when I'm seeing Crisis Core and the way it plays out, like maybe because it's modern, it just feels like, man, this is just over. Like some of these characters are just a little bit over the top, and I can't put my finger on what it is. I don't know if it's because maybe there's it's another group of people at the helm from this. It's not the original crew, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I think from what I've seen, I think like Tetsuya Nomura is at the helm for this game. I gotta do some more research, guys. Sorry. And I know he did Kingdom Hearts. I tried playing Kingdom Hearts a long time ago. I didn't get into it. I know some people liked it. I know a lot of people enjoyed the first and second one. I've heard some people say the third one was a disappointment. I don't know. I never played them. And then I know there's like 5, 6, 7, I don't know how many other spin-offs that they made, like Dream Drop Distance and 2.5 Remix. And I mean, if they were somehow to like bundle them up together on the Switch, and not a cloud version. And by cloud version, I don't mean Cloud Strife. I mean cloud version, as in you have to stream it via cloud to your console, which is ridiculous. I don't know why. That's a freaking it's a PS2 title. I don't know why Square Enix didn't just make a port. If they bundled them all together on the Switch, I think I would give it a shot. But that doesn't matter right now. It's not about Kingdom Hearts. But Kingdom Hearts, Crisis Core, I do like the little missions. Those are fun. I enjoy doing that. I like all the different variations of materia fusions. Because you could get all sorts of weird, like right now I've been getting like Dark Faraga, Dark Blizzard. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. I like that. And all sorts of weird things. And different enemies have different weaknesses, and there's so many abilities that's similar to when I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. You can't just go around using the same type of materia setup and think you're going to be fine. You have to make changes depending on where you're at, what missions you're doing, what enemies you're seeing. And I like that because I'm the kind of person, when I find that one weapon that works or the one ability that works, I just stick to it. But you really can't do that. Well, you can do this in the game, but you're not going to be as efficient with it if you don't adapt to what the enemies are being thrown at you. So that part I do like. The materia system and how you have different loadouts and different enemy types and the mission types and everything. The main story, though, that's where it gets a little odd. I mean, spoilers, guys, if you haven't, just fast forward a couple of minutes. This is the first time me playing Crisis Core, and so these characters, one of the mentors for Zack and Jill, I don't know what happened, but he becomes a bad guy or something, and he always just has one wing. And then he flies, and then there's another character, Genesis, which is and Jill's buddy. He also has one wing, and I know Sephiroth is the one wing angel, but he only ever revealed it and showed it off like when you're fighting him at the very end of the OG version, where he's summoning Meteor, and that, you remember that spell, guys? And then when he's in his final evil form, you see the one winged angel, and but on this game, they're just constantly just throwing it out there and they're just flying around. It's like, it kind of just breaks the immersion for me. And I know it's a video game, guys. There shouldn't be a materia. There shouldn't be monsters in a city. There shouldn't be a city that has another city above another city. You know, I get that part, but you know that's the fantasy aspect of it. But when you just see these one wing angels, it's just like first of all, it's like how you fly? You don't. You gotta at least do it right. Give them two angels. I mean, two wings or something. It just I think they're just leaning too much into that part. If they would have just dialed it back some a little bit, I think I'd be in a better spot. It's just, but when I see that, I'm just like, okay. But you know, regardless, the game is fun. I've been enjoying it. I did see Digital Foundry's breakdown of the PSP version and the Switch version and the PlayStation 5 slash Xbox, the current gen console version. Um, Playing on the current consoles probably would have been like the visually better, but on the Switch it handles fine. And just seeing the comparisons from the PSP and the Switch, I mean, it's just leaps and bounds better. So, guys, that clicking is driving me freaking nuts from the speakers. I'm gonna replace them tomorrow. Um, but yeah, I've been playing those two, Monster Hunter Rise and Crisis Core. I also did yesterday a stream for The Last of Us. I know you guys who know me probably know that I'm not, or even if you guys don't know me, I'm not the biggest fan of Sony first party studios, except for like Bloodborne. Bloodborne's like one of the best ones. Play Bloodborne, guys. Um, I was like, you know what? I need to play The Last of Us. As much shit as I talk about the game, I never beat it. And I told myself, and the show's coming out. I think this weekend or next weekend. I'm not too sure. I think it's coming out this weekend, the 15th. So I was like, you know what? I saw the trailer for it. The trailer looked. Even my wife, who never played the game, she knows what the game is, but she never played it. She saw the trailer. She's like, "Wow, this looks good." Of course, it's the same showrunners as Chernobyl, so which was another it's really good mini series. If you guys have not seen that, check it out. It's on HBO. Um, so like the trailer looked interesting. Okay, it looked very close to like the game. So I played the game. I was streaming it last night, and I kid you not, guys, it was at least after starting the game, it was at least 25 minutes until I actually got into the game and was able to play. Like, yeah, there was some parts where you control the daughter just to like navigate around the house, and then navigate during the prologue just to like escape the city of Austin. But after all that plays, it's finally I get to control Joel, and it was like, oh, I swear, guys, it was almost 25 minutes into the game. Granted, we know that when it comes to Sony, they love their storytelling, they love their production, they love to put the polish, and I'll give them that. They do a good job when it comes to all their titles, right? Even if I shit on them like Horizon Zero or Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero and Ghost of Tsushima are the same freaking game. They're just freaking different enemy types. But even with that being said, the polish and production is there, right? They know how to do that. So I played the game, and and I'm playing on the PlayStation 5. Just letting you know, on the PlayStation 5. So I don't know how much of a difference. I know didn't they make a remaster or a PlayStation 5 version recently back in September. I think we talked about it, guys. But anyways, going back and playing the game, the mechanics of the game is actually fun. I was kind of like, oh shit, I hope they don't catch me. The stealth mechanics are, kind of like throw the freaking jar or throw the brick or throw the bottle to the other side so you could get around them. And there's different enemy types, the clickers and the runners. You gotta either like sneak up on them and do a silent takedown or craft items. That part is not bad, but again, this is just the first session. I gotta give it some more time with the game. Maybe after hours 4, 5, and 6, maybe that will start to wear thin. But right now, the first impression, the gameplay itself, I've been enjoying it. And yes, this is gonna be like the third time I've attempted to play this game. I think the farthest I've ever got was when you meet the paranoid prepper dude, and you're like at the church or the graveyard or something. That's where I think I left off. So I'm pretty sure that's still relatively early in the game. But I want to prepare for the series. I want to watch it. I'm not gonna lie, guys. Some of the stuff lately from HBO, I just haven't really like been watching all too much. House of Dragons, I got up to the penultimate episode, like episode 9 or whatever that was, and I have yet to finish that last episode. It just Listen to Game of Thrones podcast, but I just feel like I hold the first season of Game of Thrones in such high regard that going into House of Dragon, this is just not good at all. I'm sorry. And maybe that's my fault, right? I shouldn't be comparing it. I should just hold it as its own thing. So I'm kind of hoping that maybe watching The Last of Us will be better. Um, and honestly, I mean, this game feels like it's perfect to be made into a movie, a series, or something like that. Because I mean, it. I mean, you guys have seen all the accolades it got. I mean, and I heard a lot of people say, "Look, I want a game with a good story." I I get it. I get it, right? But when I hear people say that, I tell them, go read a book. If you want a captivating story, go read a book. I'm here for the gameplay mechanics. And like I said, yes, I had to like drudge through, the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes to finally get to be able to play the game. But once I was in there, I did enjoy some of the stealth mechanics. So, and then I have a couple of gripes also with like the way they upgrade their firearms. Me being a firearm enthusiast, when they start saying clip capacity, show me on this firearm where's a clip. Unless it's a Mauser or M1 Garand, there's no clips. Okay, there's magazines. The revolver, you can't extend that. Okay, them upgrading it by changing the using some items so you could change the reload speed. Like there's no upgrades for reload speed. You can practice and do fast reloads. You could practice that, but you can't put an item on and be like, wait, just because items here, I'm gonna have faster reloads. It doesn't work that way in real life. That's to me that breaks the immersion, and it just feels like I just know if I was making a video game and there was something that I don't know about, I would consult an expert. You know, I would bring a firearm expert and be like, look, on our game, we want to we want to gamify how to upgrade firearms. How can we go about it? Is this a viable option? I don't know. They could have done something like that. Again, this is not here nor there, but it's just those little gripes that I find with the game. What else, guys? I think that's about it on Last of Us. Last of Us 2, I've heard a lot of things about it. I see my friend Ruben play a little bit of it, which it looked like it's more of the same, which is fine. I think Sony kind of has a track record of doing that. I think we saw that with God of War Ragnarok. I think we saw that with Horizon Zero Dawn, where they just maybe improve on some of this on the previous stuff and expand on it more. Um, at one point, I did want to try Horizon Zero Dawn, but Aloy just doesn't have a STFU button or a feature because she won't shut up. I might go back to Bloodborne. That's probably one I will go revisit and get some use out of this PlayStation 5 console. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. As for gaming, Last of Us, Monster Hunter, Horizon Zero Dawn. Um, I know we've been talking about games that are coming out this month, but for this, I want to focus like one episode a month, like maybe like one of the early episodes of the month, just to talk about what's coming out this month. So for the month of January, there's a whole bunch of other games coming out, guys, but I just wrote them down and took some notes. Not even took some notes, just wrote them down. And then we'll just talk about what's going on because I feel like when you ask somebody who plays video games or also has the video game hobby, when you ask them, hey, what came out this year? Like, not much came out. It's not until you actually write down and look, because there's just so many games coming out, right? I mean, it's easy to get flooded and forget about other titles unless there's something that just really stood out, i.e. Elden Ring. So for this month, things to look out for that I've been looking out for, right? Fire Emblem Engage on the 20th. You know, I already said this already, guys, before, but not having the slice of life features like Persona 5, which I enjoyed a lot, I'm kind of a little bummed out that it doesn't have that, but still enjoyed the combat when I was in the game. The strategy that was fun. I'm curious how they're gonna how they're gonna like go about this game. And mind you, guys, I never played a Fire Emblem game before Three Houses. Uh, my only knowledge of Three Houses was when I was playing Smash for a little bit. I was like, "Who's Roy?" Oh, he's from Fire Emblem. I'm like, what the hell's a Fire Emblem? Okay, and I know it's a series that's been out for a long time now. They have so many games across so many freaking Nintendo platforms. But I do want to play this one. Because I had such a good time with the first one. It just so it doesn't have the slice of life schools things. Okay, that's fine. But I'll give this game a fair shake. I know my wife's been interested in wanting to get it. So if anything, I'll just borrow her copy and then play it. 'Cause that's what I did with Three Houses. She played it first, and that way, once she was able to get familiar with the mechanics, I played it, and if I had any questions, I just ask her, and she would break it down for me. Persona 4 and Persona 3 ports coming out to the Nintendo Switch. I want to play this one, guys. I heard so many good things about 3 and 4. But the thing is, guys, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't gone back and played Persona 5 in a while. I love the game. I enjoyed it. It's just I have so many games going on right now, and trying to squeeze in a JRPG right now, I don't know if I would have time for it. So I might put those games on hold and just wait, especially if Mikkel plans on getting Fire Emblem Engage, because yeah, I could get it day one and it's just gonna sit there, but if I wait around, maybe it'll go on sale later. So I mean, doesn't just because the game's coming out, you know, in the just because the game's coming out doesn't mean you have to get it right away. Right? I mean, of course, maybe you're looking forward to it and you're a big Persona fan, and that's the only way you want to play it. That's fine. One Piece Odyssey, you know, I never seen One Piece, guys. I've heard so many good things about it. I've heard my friend Dirk says it's one of the best things he's ever read or seen. Um, Again, I said I've seen a lot of good things about it, but I don't know if I want to play that one. I don't know any of the characters except for Luffy. Um, I don't. I wouldn't know where to get started. I wouldn't know who's who, what's going on. Maybe it'll be similar to Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, where which was another game that was released by, I think it was Bandai Namco. Yeah, it was Bandai Namco. I think One Piece Odyssey is by Bandai Namco. I think I could be wrong. But Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, it was basically a JRPG with the abridged version of like Dragon Ball all the way up to Dragon Ball Z Namek Saga, I think, or no, the Cell games, I think, up to that certain part. So they kind of like just abridge everything into a video game form. If One Piece Odyssey is kind of like that, I might put it on my radar. But even then, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan. It would have to be on a super deep discount for me want to pick it up. But I'll definitely keep my eyes on it and check it out. Maybe go to Twitch and see people playing it just so I can get an idea of how it actually plays and stuff like that. Because I mean, it's with so many games that I have to be I gotta pick and choose where I'm going to invest my money and time into, right? And I'm sure you guys come across that stuff too. I mean, if it's a game that you've been interested and it's on your radar, you find it on sale, like a very good sale, you might pick it up. Doesn't mean you're going to necessarily play it right away, right? But the fact that you have it and then any day that you want to play it, make time for it, that's cool. Monster Hunter Rise, that one's coming out on the 20th. That's gonna be coming out for the consoles though. I already talked a bit about that one, but I'm glad that it's coming out. Capcom has always been one of those developers that I've been a fan of for the longest. I mean, Street Fighter is one of my favorite franchises of all time. I know I had some highs and lows with Street Fighter Five. I enjoyed the game. I really did. I had fun with it. I just didn't like how Capcom handled it. And that's a whole different discussion about character passes and DLC and costumes and CPT Pro Tour events and more costumes and Chun-Li's costumes and stages. And yes, I know you have to monetize, you got to get some money. But after a while though, I mean, especially where I started drawing the line was when you start getting fight money for having sponsored, having in-game ads, and then having the Street Fighter Capcom Pro Tour logos all over your fighters. It just I was watching. There used to be a guy that used to do some Street Fighter Five content called Born Free, and he said it best. And I'm paraphrasing here, but when you see these Street Fighters characters just covered like a NASCAR, NASCAR, with all these logos, it just takes away the coolness of it. They just look like they're just walking fighting billboards, and to that point I agree. Like these cools are supposed to be, these fighters are supposed to be cool and awesome, and some of them are supposed to be mysterious, but then when you just slap all these, Pro Tour and Street Fighter 5 decals and logos all over, then it just doesn't, it just, to me, it loses its appeal. And maybe some people don't care about that, and that's fine, but this is, that's just my opinion, the way I see it, and I hate that. And I just feel like, you know, and I had said before with Street Fighter 6, I'm not gonna play it. I don't get near it. But after knowing that Ono has left and they got new guys working on it, and just seeing what I've seen on it so far with the betas and all the news and all the new characters, I'm excited. I'm gonna get into it. Again, I'm not gonna purchase any day one DLC. I'm just gonna be getting the base game, and then if I see what I like, then I'll continue to buy some more stuff. If not, that's it. I think this is how now that I'm older, I just approach video games a lot different, because Street Fighter 4, and I'm sorry to make this about a Street Fighter Comcast podcast, guys, but Street Fighter 4 that came out, in my opinion, that was a better deal. You got more mileage, you got more out of your buck when it came to the costume packs that were in Street Fighter 4, because they would have these theme packs, right? They would have a horror pack, they would have an animal pack, they would have a summer pack, they would have they had different themes, But the thing is, they would have one for every character, for Hakon, for, I was about to say Goki, but for Akuma, for Shin Akuma, for Ryu, Evil Ryu, for Decapre, for Cammy. I mean, all the characters, all of them got a summer outfit, or an animal themed outfit, or a horror outfit, and that was awesome. I like that. It just feels like with Street Fighter Five. Okay, I won't say now, but what they did with Street Fighter Five was, all right, these 5 characters are getting costumes, or maybe these characters are getting costumes, or here's Chun-Li with her 15th costume. After a while it just becomes like, dude, I'm like, me and like 2 other people playing Akali, we only have like 3 outfits. Like, I mean, I'm willing to give you some money, but you got to make it cool. I mean, and again, when I was playing Street Fighter 4, I kind of wanted to collect everything, because, you want the outfits for everybody. And that's when I was playing a lot offline events, well, I won't say offline events. I was playing offline with my buddies in the garage, and everybody had their certain colors and outfits and setups that, you wanted to do that. You didn't want to like not have a color for somebody, or a costume for somebody, or a character for somebody. I just hope whatever they do with Street Fighter 6, they just do a better job of it. Just do better. That's all. And right now, so far, it's been on good track. But anyways, I went on a tangent about Street Fighter. I do that. I do that every once in a while, guys. Sorry. Um, and they do have some of that stuff in Monster Hunter Rise. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna kid you. There's some like cosmetic shit that's on there that it's fine. Um, Dead Space remake coming on the 27th. After seeing my buddy Fizz play Callisto Protocol, um, I think I think overall across the board, I think Callisto Protocol was lukewarm at best. It was had of a buggy launch, and then they did some hot patches quick fixes to get it more playable, to make it more steady. And some of them made the game worse. Some of the mechanics were kind of lackluster or much to be desired, especially like the evasion part, because all you do is hit left or right or left or right. I mean, it was just kind of meh. Enemies could still attack you if you're dodging one enemy and another one shows up. They can still attack you mid dodge. Um, and yes, I know the game is meant to be like a hard, difficult, like survival horror, but it also should be fun to play and enjoyable. When you're just getting, and I don't want to compare it the same logic, the same difficulty as a Souls game, because yes, Souls games will be difficult and you have to learn certain patterns, but this one just felt like it was just kind of erratic. They just kind of throw enemies at you, and they try to rely on a lot of like scare tactics, just jump scares and everything. And I'm just talking about it, guys, as my perspective as just backseat gaming. I was watching my friend Fizz play. I would go on his stream and just watch, and it it seemed visually okay, but there was some stuff where like they could have put some more polish on it. But yeah, I don't think Callisto Protocol was what they wanted it to be, but because it's supposed to be inspired and like a clone of Dead Space, right? Dead Space is the one that started it all, I think, right? For the whole space survival. I could be wrong. Don't burn me. Don't lynch me. So with Dead Space coming out, the remake, everybody's telling me I need to play that one. But I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not the biggest fan of horror survival. I don't like getting the shit scared out of me. Like Resident Evil is probably like the farthest I'll go into that genre, just because I grew up with Resident Evil and I know that series. I know what it's about. I was there since day one with the OG version and the director's cut, with the live action cutscenes that they would have in there back in the PS1 days. You guys remember that? And then especially me going back into the series with Resident Evil 7 and 8. So Resident Evil 4, I'm looking at you. But so, Dead Space, I'm not planning on picking it up or playing it. I will watch my friends play it. I will watch them stream it. I might watch other people stream it. But me, myself, unless it goes on deep discount or somebody wink wink, gifts it to me, maybe I'll give it a shot, but I'm not going to be looking out for that game. I'm sorry. But I know people are excited for it. What else? Oh, and from Square Enix, Forspoken. I know they had a demo for this game out back in December. You play as this one girl who does a lot of parkour and has some magic attacks. I don't. It's not appealing to me. I mean, it has the Square Enix, graphics where a lot of spark stuff's going around and a lot of special effects going around and stuff and bouncing off, and visually it has that. But gameplay, I mean, I didn't try the demo. I'm not interested in it. I will, if any of my friends are streaming it or are talking about it, I will give it a shot. I will look into it, but it's not on my radar at all to play. Final Fantasy 16 is. Of course, we got a while for that. I think I might have mentioned that they're going to have like 6 months exclusivity for Sony when that game comes out for the PlayStation 5. I might talk about it. I'm not too sure. But Forspoken is just, and that game was pushed back already. I think it was originally supposed to release back in sometime in the fall of last year, but I guess they need some more polish, and then they just push it all the way till January. Fine, cool. Again, I think the demo is out or was out, so you guys could check it out there. Like I said, I saw one of my Twitch buddies play the demo. I thought it was okay. Nothing that's gonna excite me for it. What else, guys? Something I want to talk about that you guys might be into, but I'm not really. Excuse me, that water's a little stiff. So with recently I like to go on YouTube, of course, just like anybody else, and just look at different thumbnails. And I saw one where Wizard of the Coast is just monetizing the hell out of Dungeons and Dragons. I saw a video, and the guy was just breaking it down how they got some like emails from from the big wigs at Wizards of the Coast and saying D&D is not being properly monetized. They should make more money. It's very big, and shows like Stranger Things, and then some content creators like Critical Role. D&D has been on the up and up. I think recently they had, or I don't know, I won't say recent, but I know like the fifth edition is out, and I hear it's very popular. Even my real life friends, sometimes get together and they play and have some sessions, and that's great. Um, but I hear from what I saw in the video, and and I have a little bit experiences with Wizards of the Coast. I used to play Magic the Gathering a long time ago. Back in the early 2000s, I know, guys, it's a long time. Back in the early 2000s, I got in during the Invasion block, Invasion, Plane Shift, and Apocalypse. That was my first set that I got into, and I had a really good time. And I was coming at it from playing Pokemon. Pokemon was fun. It was early 2000s, late 90s. Pokemon was everywhere. It was big. It's still big, right? And I played the card game with me and my brother, and I had a good time. But the game, I felt like it felt like it lacked depth to it. So it's comic book store. I see people playing Magic. What's that? This is Magic the Gathering. This is how you do. You summon spells. They have different, there's instants and sorceries and monsters and enchantments, and you have to use your lands, and they all have different unique artwork from different sets. So I was like, oh man, it's awesome. So I got into it, and I was very heavy into Magic the Gathering for a long time, right? Like up until I want to call it, I think it's Time Spiral set. I don't know how many years that was later, but little by little, I kind of there were just so many blocks, so many cards coming out, so many different things coming out. I just couldn't keep up with the game. The game was changing. They were adding different things. I think I left right before like the inception of Planeswalker cards. And I get it. You have to make new things to keep the game fresh, to keep people there and everything. And I was more of a what they call like a spike player. I was more about the tournament scene. I wanted to see what were the top 8 decks from this event. What decks are performing better. What were the meta? What's going on? That was my mentality. I know there's a lot of people who I think my friend Shane calls like they do kitchen table magic. It's very casual, and that's fine. Being and like commander and kitchen top magic, just being casual with all sorts of stuff. That's fine. I mean, if you like playing games, you love playing games. But me, I always approached it as a tournament on the tournament side. The competitive side. So after a while, I just started noticing that these are just pumping out sets, pumping out sets, pumping out sets, just making changes to the game. After a while, it's like, I just can't keep up with this game. As much as I love it, I just can't keep up. These things are rotating. It's just trying to play Type 2 is like, back then, it was very expensive because, 3 months, new set. 3 months, new set. Then you have a whole block in, cool. You have, mono block construct. And then they start introducing another standalone set, and then something rotates out and comes in, and then it goes into extended. Well, back then it was called extended. Now it's called I don't know what's called, guys. I forgot. Correct me if I'm wrong. But and that was like my first, and that's like, okay, this is Wizards of the Coast. Like, cool. So fast forward to now. Again, I don't play D&D that much. I think I tried playing a couple of times with my friends, but whatever tabletop role playing I did play was usually Warhammer, which it's similar. No, it's not, Rick. Shut up. Yeah, it is. But the popularity of Dungeons and Dragons, like with shows of Stranger Things and Critical Roles. I just looking at this video, they're talking about how they want to change the OGL, the open game license, where if you're making X amount of money, you have to start paying royalties to Wizards of the Coast. I just find that like that is just, dude. I mean, you got to think about it this way: the folks that are putting out content for your product, that's just free advertisement for Dungeons and Dragons. And I know they got movies coming out. They already had like a movie come out way back when, which was freaking flopped hard. Travis could tell you about that one. I know they have one coming out soon. If it hasn't came out already, with Chris Pine. And I'm sure they got comics and there's different extensions. It's big right now, right? And that's one way of monetizing, by making different, like TV shows and animated shows and movies and stuff like that. That's one way of monetizing. And for that, I have no issues if that's what they want to do. Kind of do spin-offs for that, for the target audience, or try to like expand to get other people into the game itself. And that's fine. It's just when you start wanting to get royalties off of people that are playing your game, like the guys at Critical Role. I don't know who they are. I never seen any of their streams, but I know they're one of the biggest ones, because I think Twitch had a leak and they released how, like, who's making the most money. I think Pokimane, Critical Role, and like Amaranth and Maximilian were up there. That's fine. Get your money. I don't care. But these guys are like the Critical Role guys. They're making content and they're streaming it and putting eyes on the product, and not to mention like all the third party people who are making figures or maps or different scenarios or different campaigns, or making some modification to the rules just to make it work better for them, for maybe like online. I know my wife plays online with her friends across the world, but Wizards of the Coast has the gall to want to. And granted, you got to make like over like $750,000 before they want royalties. That's a lot, That's like 1% of everybody who's playing, right? But still, the fact that they're willing to do that, and I think they talked about how like they could just give you a 30-day notice, and they could change the rules of that whatever the open game license. It's just ridiculous, and it just sucks, guys. It really does, because at the end, it's just it's the content creators and the players that lose. Hands down. I mean, Wizards of the Coast, they've done it before, like I said, with Magic the Gathering. And they plan on doing it now with Dungeons and Dragons, which sucks. It's unfortunate. Oh yeah, they're making video games. Baldur's Gate, that's coming out. I mean, they got other ways to make money. It just sucks that when they start having, they become a public traded company, and the shareholders got to get their grubby little hands in on the pie and get money and just exploit it like that. It just sucks. Again, guys, I'm not a big D&D player. I just know a little bit from Wizards of the Coast from way back in the day. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, you want to talk about some stuff, feel free to at me, guys, on Twitter, at the Discord, or anything else. The video games that are coming up, video games that you want to play. Maybe you want to come by and check out the stream. Stuff like that, guys. If you want to help out the stream, or the podcast, word of mouth, tell your friends about it. If you want to help out the show and do a little donation to help out, and the donation is just to keep the podcast running. I want the podcast to be self-sustained, just to cover itself. That's all I'm asking for. If not, just talk to your friends about it, or if just catch the video on YouTube, give us a like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Guys, I am done for tonight. I didn't think I was going to have this much content to talk about, but I guess I did. Especially since last week was kind of light. I mean, given the holidays and everything. So it just makes it a challenge for me to look out for next week, which I'll be back. We'll get some new stuff. I'm going to try to get this schedule back to where it was. I know the holidays threw everything off, work threw everything off, but I'm trying to keep it back where, I'll record it on Wednesdays and then throw it out Wednesday night, Thursday morning and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, get some rest. Don't stay up too late. Play some video games. Exercise. Eat well. Drink plenty of water. Hang out with your family, your loved ones. I think that's what we do it for. Have someone. Look at the silver linings. Have someone to anchor you down. Just be positive, guys. I know during the holidays I was kind of depressed and dark and shit, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's not always a freight train, okay? So, anyways, guys, have fun. Enjoy some video games. Get some rest, and I will see y'all. I love you guys. I do. Thank you for hanging out and watching. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys. Peace out.